I'm putting a club act together and I want to show you how I'm structuring it. So in case you are trying to put together a cabaret, a recital, one-person show, any entertainment type event in which you need to keep folks engaged and entertained and fulfilled for an hour plus, this is the structure I'm using. The first thing you need to do is define the thing that you are fixing to do. So you want to define what is the venue, what is the structure. Are you doing an act in a club? Will there be drinking and chewing and talking while you're doing this? Are you going to be doing it at a concert venue? Are you going to be performing a recital? Is it going to be a one-person show, and more specifically theatrical event? Are you going to be doing performance art in front of Target? Once you define what you are working on, what you're doing, then you can take your structure from here. The first thing that's important for you to do is to book a venue so that you have a deadline and you're on the hook. If you're like me, you'll plan and noodle and think about things and then you'll procrastinate until nothing happens. So what I did, I emailed the venue in New York City. So once that clock starts ticking, then I know that's how much time I have. I don't remember what the law is, but the whole law about the things expand or contract to fill the time that they have, it's very true. So if you're like me, get a deadline, get yourself on the hook to come through, because that way you'll really get the fire going. That's my bellows right there. Yeah, I'm stoking my fire. So what you want to be doing before and after you set your deadline is you want to get a list going. Let's say this is a musical event you're doing. So you want to get a list going. You want to get a list of songs you love, unless you're doing your own original material. And if you are doing your original material, make sure you love those songs too. But you want to get a list of songs you love rolling. And what you want to do is you want to create a document, create a list, have a dedicated piece of paper somewhere in your life where when you're doing the dishes or vacuuming and you think of a song or you hear something on a Spotify playlist that you remember you absolutely love, you write it down. I use a page in Notion to keep these ideas so that then I can also use that page to structure it. You just want to keep a list of songs you absolutely love, because that has to be your first criteria. If you're not singing material that you love, then you're not going to enjoy it. And guess who else is not going to enjoy it? The people for whom you are singing, your audience. So that's got to be criteria one. And actually, don't even worry about style or category. Just write it down if you love it. Let's just say there's a song that is not at all in the style realm you think you're going for. Go ahead and write it down, because you might have an idea to craft that in a way that coheres with your idea a little better. So get your song list going and just have it as a working, open, living document that you can always add to. Once you have this list going, number two, you're going to want to choose a structuring tool for your songs. So you can go about this in two basic ways, and then the two ways will always come together. So the first way that you can think about this, as a theater singer, I like to use a narrative structure. I like anything that I do to have the shape of a story. Human beings, we are wired to listen to stories. I don't understand why, but we are. I'm sure there's all kinds of science to explain that, but we love a story. I want to structure anything that I'm doing along storytelling lines. What I'm doing for this particular club act right now is I am using the Joseph Campbell hero's journey structure. Within Notion, you can use AI tools to grab research and put that into your document. So I just said, hey, can you please structure out the hero's journey for me? And then I can take all of these points and then I can attach song ideas to the thematic material within the hero's journey. Other things that you can do, you could just do a basic platonic 3-act structure where you have a beginning world, a middle world, rising action, conflict, climax, and then into the third act, resolution, denouement. There are lots of different techniques that you can try out.
So here's my list in Notion. I just make a list and put all of the different songs that I want to sing in this list, and then the structure of the hero's journey. And I'm putting the songs that might thematically cohere with these themes and these elements.
The other way that you can craft this is with a musical idea, especially if you are working on something that is living within one particular style world. You're going to want to make sure that you structure the evening so that there is musical variety and rise and fall throughout. So you want to make sure that what I call mode shifts. Mode shifts are change in time signature, change in tempo, change in thematic material, so that the structure of the evening has variety and keeps folks on a journey. So that's the other thing that you can do. Narrative structure and musical structure are both showing variety and movement. So what you actually want to do after you have done either the narrative or the musical structures, you're going to want to make sure they work together. I have a narrative structure, but I have 5 ballads in a row, which personally, I would like to sing 5 ballads in a row, but everybody might not want to hear 5 ballads in a row. So I need to make sure that there's a musical change going through the structure of the show so that it's going to serve the audience who's hearing it in a really beautiful way and take them on a journey rather than, I don't know, a commute down Victory Boulevard in the San Fernando Valley. It's all the same. A lot of palm trees, stucco apartment buildings. You don't want to do it. You want to take your narrative and musical structure, combine the two to make sure they're working together. That happened to me at a club act that I did in LA. I realized that I had a lot of slow, serious songs because that's what I always pick. That's what I always like to sing. And I needed something to lighten it up. So I crafted this medley called the Inappropriate Style Medley, where I sang a lot of contemporary stuff with mostly classical style, which ended up being very silly and fun, and actually ended up being the point in the show that the review highlighted the most. So it was the piece that I threw in that I knew needed to be there for the audience, and it ended up really lightening and bringing the show together. So look at the structure of your show. Once you have it, you want to lay it out like a really terrific album where there's flow, there's narrative connection, and there's also variety so that things are changing. That can be a time signature change, that can be a tempo change, that can be a mood change, that can be a mode change from major to minor. You want to make sure that that is shifting throughout the structure of what you do. Number 3, when you have begun your love list and you've started to attach songs into the structure, you're going to want to test out some of these songs. Some of these songs might be terrific on the album you're listening to, but might not work well in the context that you're going to be performing them in. So make sure you know what instruments or instrument you're going to be performing with. Make sure that the song goes well with that instrument. Some songs that might be more guitar driven, will that work on a piano? Will songs that are really dependent on really great rhythm material, really great percussion, are you going to have percussion in your show? Are you going to be able to do that? Or will your collaborator at the piano, if it's just a piano, will that be able to be captured in just a piano? Then you want to air them out. You want to sing through some of these songs to see if they are songs that you really, really, really love and want to spend a lot of time working on and crafting and deepening. Sometimes I really love a song and I will sing through it a couple times and I think I might get bored with this. It's a terrific song, but I love the way it was crafted, engineered, and recorded, and I don't think I'm going to love how I'm going to do it. That happened to me actually one time in a performance where I had put one song in that I really loved, but I hadn't had a lot of time to rehearse it with the band. And I got about halfway through the song and I thought, I don't enjoy this song anymore. I think I even announced it to the audience, which I don't recommend doing. So you live, you learn. See, I've made all the mistakes. If you are on the fence about it, keep it, because once you collaborate on it and start working with it, you might find a way in and through it that's really magical. So don't throw anything out too fast. But if it's not a hell yes, it's a hell no on this, because you have to enjoy this music so much so that you can invite the audience into your enjoyment. So you've got your list of songs you love, your working list. You've picked your structuring tool, be that narrative or musical first, and you've taken those and combined them. And you are feeling out your love list to see if the songs are ones that you really want to keep. You've been plugging in songs to the structure to see how that flow is going. And now once you have that, it's going to be a matter of rehearsing, getting things on its feet, seeing how the songs themselves feel, and then you have to see how they feel in the flow. And that can only happen in the doing. I hope that was helpful. That's what I'm working on right now, and I'll show you more of these pieces of work as I go, and I'll keep you posted. So reach out if you have any questions. I'd love to hear what you're working on, and let me know if there are ways that you structure performances like this that have helped you besides the narrative or musical, or if there's a way or a narrative structure that you like to use, or other guidelines that have helped you in the past. So share those with me. All right. Well, remember in the meantime, and I will remember in the meantime, that there is really only one you, and folks do need to hear the story that only you can sing. Now go sing. Bye.